All right, my friend. Sorry about that. Got disconnected somewhere in there. What we're talking about is dealing with inflammation. If we're dealing with excess inflammation, then we want to make sure that we're changing the activity level. We're changing um, the chemical makeup inside of our body. So the food or the nutrition that we're taking in, the supplements, and then the lifestyle factors. So the biggest bang for your buck, I think, in the short term is to go and do a fasting mimicking diet, to do a 5 day. We use Prolon, and that mimics fasting. What they've figured out is the exact line of nutrients that it takes to get you in fasting state, but not to have any of the negatives that come along with it. So really important if you're going to do some fasting, that we don't lose muscle mass. That's why we use Prolon. But the big part is that you'll really reduce inflammation significantly if you can get into that state. So that's why we start with that, is you can reduce inflammation to a crazy high degree if we're able to get your body in fasting state and you go into autophagy. And then once you get into autophagy, you really do make some big changes into your body's breakdown of these inflammatory cells. So that's very, very important whenever we are looking at getting people out of inflammation. Um, so when we're looking at fasting, I'm glad this worked out. This jumped in there. So when we're looking at fasting, most of the research says that we need to get into fasting state for at least 72 hours to get deep into autophagy. That is where the big change starts to happen in terms of inflammation in your body going into fasting state and actually breaking down these damaged cells. So we use this a ton to kind of clear out. This is our like natural built-in mechanism, the button we can push to clear out damaged cells. That's what autophagy is your body goes in and it's really smart about what it's looking for. It's trying to go find these dysfunctional, damaged, precancerous, altered DNA cells and eat those cells while you're in fasting state. So really, really good to do that regularly. In my family, we say, like, look, do this every quarter. You'll reduce your risk for cancer. You reduce your risk for diabetes. You'll lose some weight along the process. Most of that is abdominal and visceral fat that we get rid of when we get in fasting state. But if you're looking at fasting and you've heard about intermittent fasting versus prolonged fasting, intermittent fasting is what most people ask me about, which is when you're restricting your eating window to a small window. So you're only eating, let's say, 6 to 8 hours a day. That's a whole different thing than doing prolonged fasting. When you're doing intermittent fasting, you're giving your body more rest time in between your meals so that your digestive tract, your digestive system can actually go through the digestion process without using a bunch of energy. So the important part of that is that we make sure that um, we are giving the body those rest breaks. That's great. It's a really good thing. It's a completely different mechanism if you're doing intermittent fasting than prolonged fasting. Intermittent fasting, you are in all likelihood not getting into autophagy where your body's breaking down these damaged cells. Most of the research says that's not happening until about 72 hours. So that third day mark. This is why if you look at Prolon, the fasting mimicking diet, they set it for 5 days. Let's make sure we get you all the way into autophagy and you really clear out the damaged tissue, the damaged cells, these altered DNA cells, these altered kind of precancerous type cells. So that also, to kind of go back to the last question, is really important to reduce inflammation. And if you do this once a quarter, you'll really bring down your inflammatory load on your body. And as we know, inflammation is a major driver to most disease states. So if you have something that you can do once a quarter to bring in and reduce the inflammation that your body's dealing with, that's so helpful to stay healthy, to reduce all of these changes that come with that, whether that's brain, joint, tissue, certainly like weight changes and metabolism as well. So um, that's the main answer, is depending on the benefits of fasting that you're looking for, changes based on that, changes the duration that you should do. If you're looking at getting reductions of inflammation and clearing out damaged cells, you need to do 3 days. You need to do 72 hours. I don't recommend water only fast very often. A lot of times we lose muscle mass with that. So anyone over the age of 50, I would say do a fasting mimicking program. Either do that on your own or use Prolon that's already kind of made for you, and follow that. The research says you don't lose muscle mass. We don't want to trade muscle mass as we age for anything. So hopefully that answers your question on kind of how long should I be fasting. So very good question. I get it all the time. I get that stuff every day. So great question. What we got? John, this is a fun one. So yeah, when we look at posture, I get in a few arguments over this stuff. So like using phones, using laptops, we're all sitting in this position and everyone's in this kind of hunched over. If we look at what's happening in that, you're tightening across the front of your neck, your shoulders, everything is pulling in on you, and that starts to create compression across your spine. So you actually start to get a lot of tension that's actually squeezing the spine into compression. This is one of those things that I think is very easy to change, actually. If we're making this very simple, if you're trying to improve posture, we need to stretch everything that tightens whenever we're sitting, and we need to strengthen everything that gets us out of that. So the best thing that I can see to loosen up all of the structures that tighten whenever you get into this kind of laptop, phone, forward flexed position is to just hang. So we teach our patients, grab a pull-up bar, let your body go and kind of relax the shoulders and let that stretch out the chest, the rib cage. You'll feel that pulling throughout the upper shoulders, the neck, all the way down into the armpit. Everything that has tightened whenever you're in this position, just doing a palm forward hang will stretch all of that stuff out. And so it takes all of the tension off the front of your shoulders and really kind of reduces the load that those extensor muscles need to handle. So after that, so we're hanging, I'm loosening all of the shoulder up. Then what I want to do is strengthen the extensor muscles. That's the things that keep me upright. The best thing I know for that is kettlebell swings. I love them. Y'all probably heard me talk about this before. Doing regular kettlebell swings strengthens the back, the shoulders, and it does it in a dynamic way. So you're actively moving. So I'm not stiffening anything up. So if we're fixing posture, start hanging. I would say accumulate 3 minutes a day. That's probably like 30 seconds at a time to loosen all of the shoulders up. And then start doing some kettlebell swings. This doesn't have to be every day, but I would do kettlebell swings regularly to start increasing the extensor strength that you have throughout your shoulder. You're going to get your upper back moving. You'll get your shoulders looser. You're going to strengthen all the attachment sites from your shoulders into your neck, and you'll start to see posture start straightening up. Doing regular kettlebell swings is the biggest change I've ever seen a patient have in their posture on x-ray. So I've had patients who had kyphotic posture that we could see on an x-ray. And then after doing about 6 months of this very, very basic program, we could start to see that they're on x-ray, their kyphotic posture in their thoracic spine straightened up. They actually changed their body. So if you're looking at that, start doing a regular hang, do some kettlebell swings, start really light with your kettlebell swings. And then the last thing that I would say, if you're trying to fix posture, would be to start strengthening your neck. That's the one thing I never see patients who do that. We need all of the muscles in here to be quite strong today. No matter what you do, you're going to be on a computer, you're going to be in cars, you're going to be on phones. We're using these muscles differently than they've ever been needed throughout human history. We need to strengthen them. I love the iron neck. If you've ever seen the iron neck, it's a little halo that sits on your head, and you can strengthen the neck muscles against the resistance. If you don't have that, or you don't want that high tech, get one of those little stretchy TheraBands, put that thing around and close it in a door, and just sit straight against the resistance of the TheraBand. And then we can do the same little moves. In fact, I'll post a little video of like the poor man's version of an iron neck program. So if you shoot a comment on this, I'll make sure that we get that over to you and we send the video. But those three, without coming up with some big crazy program, I think for the vast majority of people, if we start doing some regular hanging, just grabbing a pull-up bar and letting your shoulders kind of decompress and stretching all that out, start doing some kettlebell swings and start strengthening the neck muscles, you'll notice within a matter of months that your posture changes. It's not something you're going to change overnight, certainly not your everyday carrying posture, but within a few months, you can definitely see posture change. And as we're talking about, I've seen this on x-ray doing just these basic things: regular shoulder decompression with a hang, kettlebell swings, do some iron neck, start strengthening the muscles in your neck. And you'll notice a lot of relief in terms of like postural tension. So hopefully that helps, John. What else we got? What questions y'all got? Beautiful. Cheers to tea time, by the way. Thank y'all all for tuning in. Thanks for jumping on. Glutathione, as y'all probably heard, is one of my favorite supplements. It's one of the only supplements that I do not stop taking year round. Glutathione, I always take. I cycle on and off of many supplements, and there's a lot of reasons behind that, but glutathione is one that I don't stop taking. And glutathione is your body's master antioxidant, as they would call it. So it's a very powerful antioxidant that helps clear out oxidative stress, hence antioxidant. But a lot of people don't know what that term means. As our cells work, they create oxidative stress. They create these little free radicals, which is like exhaust. If you think of your car burning fuel and it has an exhaust, when we burn oxygen in our cells, it has an exhaust. And that exhaust can accumulate and create damage, which is why we need great antioxidants to clear all that exhaust up, clear all that damage out. Glutathione is the one that controls all the other antioxidants. So it's very, very important to keep us healthy. Basically, if you look at glutathione, it's composed of really 3 amino acids. So you have glutamine, glycine, and cysteine. Those get put together inside of our body to make glutathione. And it really helps to detoxify. So when we were talking about fasting, a big thing that people talk about is how much fasting can help you detoxify. I've had patients who had lots of toxin storage, so to speak, in their body. So when they went into fasting state, they felt it. They felt like they were going into a detox state. That's headaches, nerve symptoms, numbness, weird tingling sensations, sleep issues. That's all detoxification. One thing that we'll pair that with is glutathione. So if you know that you've been in contact with, or you feel like you have inflammation and some of that is toxicity, then you need to detox. But all these other things that people are talking about, we've got a very strong built-in detox pathway in our body, and that is fasting. You'll detoxify. You'll break down these cells that are carrying toxins. But we need to help the body clear that stuff out, and that's where glutathione comes in. It really helps to remove toxins and heavy metals from the body. So if you've had any issues with that, those can cause many downstream effects. Taking glutathione is your primary step. It's certainly if you're doing that in combination with any fasting, you'll detoxify better than any other like online sales thing that says like use our detox products. I promise you, 5 days of fasting and glutathione is better. If you look at all the research, that's where it's at. Another thing is it really helps to improve immune function. So if we're looking at what glutathione does, it improves our body's ability to handle toxins and to detoxify through that antioxidant pathway. That helps enhance immune function to a very high degree. The dosages around that are about 200 to 500 milligrams a day. Depends on where you're at. I would say if you've been someone who've dealt with any of those, you've had a high kind of toxicity or heavy metal issues, if you've had a weakened immune system or things like high stress, lots of injuries, what they currently say is that those things reduce glutathione load in your body. We know that glutathione starts to decrease as we age. So once we turn about 20, glutathione starts to go down. Glutathione levels start to go down. We need to replenish that stuff. The more stress that you've had, the more issues, the more injuries, the more immune problems, the more we need glutathione. So the main people, when they looked at the major research of glutathione, and we realized how important it was, we were looking at the sickest people, cancer. This was in like the heyday of HIV and AIDS. And we found that if we gave those people glutathione and you improved their antioxidant profile, that they were much healthier. They felt better and lived healthier lives, even if they were in an end-state disease. So it's really important to start this early. Start helping your body kind of clean up those cells and reduce the oxidative stress and the inflammation, improve immune function. If we have a patient who we think really needs this, we've got a suppository glutathione. And if you need to detoxify, or you need a very quick boost in antioxidant function, then we can do that in a suppository form of 250 or 500 milligrams. It's incredible. It will really, really help to reduce inflammation very fast. It really helps to clear out any oxidative stress or boost the immune system. So people who are like, worried about getting sick, or they're dealing with any of those kind of, I know I'm around sicker people. I've got kids and they're little cesspools of germs coming home. This is a great thing that you can do. I take a daily glutathione supplement that basically kind of combines all the components so they get absorbed. That's one of the issues, is like the actual glutathione molecule does not get absorbed. So if you're taking it in supplement form, you're going to either have to do that in a liposomal glutathione, a reduced glutathione, so the components, that's what I do. And then we know that just taking straight N-acetylcysteine, NAC, does help because it is a precursor. It's one of those precursors that can help increase your body's amount of glutathione. So I would say liposomal, great. Reduced glutathione, 250 to 500 milligrams, and you're going to do really well. There's very few people that I don't tell to take this. It's that important to our health to keep oxidative stress and immune function up very, very high. So one twist to this is that a lot of these things say to take it all in the morning. We've tracked this and found that if you take half a dose in the morning and half a dose right before bed, that you'll get better deep sleep. I've got a bunch of theories around that. I think that's partly because it's helping your body detoxify at night, and that gives your body the ability to kind of get into deep sleep much better. But it's not a small change. I mean, some of these studies are showing like 20 and 30% better deep sleep. That's massive if you add that up over the long run. So that's 250, 500 milligrams. Get your glutathione in. I take a reduced form. I don't really have any real dog in the fight, whether you take a reduced or a liposomal. I've got patients who love their liposomal glutathiones. You can increase by eating some of those reduced things: broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. Love all that stuff. Add those in. Garlic, very big. Eggs and fish are really helpful. Avocados. Taking turmeric and milk thistle also are little kind of herbal changes that you can use to increase your glutathione level. But it's one of the body's most important supplements or compounds to keep us healthy. So I am a huge proponent. I think I recommend the vast majority of my patients to start taking a glutathione just for general health purposes, but to reduce inflammation as well. It can really create a very big change. So that's what we got. Thank y'all for your questions. Sorry for the kind of mix up and swapping videos around, but we will be doing this regularly. Please share it with your friends. Shoot me any questions that you have about health or supplements or pain problems, any of that stuff. We'll continue to increase our production and shoot some extra videos and really kind of use this to share some great information with y'all. So I hope that gave you some value. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see y'all on the next Tea with Dr. D. Enjoy your tea. Mate today. Right now, look, we're in South Louisiana.